Prenups are agreements entered into between two lovers who are planning to get married before they get married, to outline how they intend to share their property after or in case of separation, divorce, or death. It's basically a document that allows them not to include their current property that they own when they are single as part of matrimonial property. So the component of a prenup includes the names of the two lovers, the property they intend to not include as matrimonial property, and how they intend to distribute these properties in case of any event of what I had mentioned, separation, death, or divorce. Basically means that you get your property that you co-owned together during the marriage. So you're going to get and distribute the property, the only property that you bought together as a party, or as individuals when you are married. If you went and secretly bought yourself a piece of property, or you bought yourself an apartment and you are going separate ways, that is supposed to be included as part of the matrimonial property. So you don't walk away with nothing. You walk with the property that your partner or yourself got during the course of your marriage. The law provides that you have to enter or you have to sign a prenup before earlier on, not 21 days to the marriage. I don't know whether that comes out. So the reason why they say that is because they don't want you to be coerced or not to be in the right mental state, whereby you're so emotional and excited about this marriage and you just sign off. They want you to seek first legal counsel. You separate legal counsel or legal advice. Get yourself a lawyer who is going to elaborate and explain to you. Secondly, they want you to make sure that your partner discloses all the things that they own before you sign that document that limits what can be included as a matrimonial property. A prenup protects your property before you get married, 21 days before you get married. Relationships at times do not last a lifetime, and people sometimes have differences and they go separate ways, they divorce, and at times death comes and takes away your partner. And when such an event takes place, what happens and what we have seen as Africans is that people will start fighting for properties. And if you had a prenup, one advantage you have is that the property you owned as a single person will not be included in the list of matrimonial properties that your partner is going to fight for and go asking for in court. So it will be secure. So that 5 acres of land or that apartment will be secure because it will not be part of this list. So that's one advantage. The other advantage is that it saves you on cost, because if you had already agreed earlier on, then it will not be included in this list, which means that if those are the only properties you had, for example, you get married and 1 year down the line you divorce, you will not find yourself going to court to fight over properties. So you save on money and you save on time. That's the other advantage. It's still new. Kenyans are not taking up prenups yet. And I think a factor contributing to that is the fact that the prenups were introduced in 2014 under a law we call the Matrimonial Property Act. Actually, Matrimonial Property Act of 2013. So they were introduced in 2014, and that's around 6-7 years ago. And so it's still not yet something that information that is out there in public that people are able to exercise and to use that information to their advantage. Yes and no, because one, matrimonial property is property gotten during, at the beginning, during, and at the end of a marriage, and that's what a couple fights about. Most of the divorces are about that property that they bought together, or I extended a personal loan to you as my partner, and so I want a claim. I'm placing a claim on that property. That's what most of the divorces are all about. And so from where I sit, I don't think you need a prenup for that purpose. Because of these other incidences that we are referring to, that maybe you may get into a marriage that does not last longer than maybe even a year, or 5 years, or 10 years. And you are married to a nasty person who wants to lay a claim on your property, then a prenup would be something advisable to actually consider. Applies whether you're married or not, because couples tend to go to court to fight over property that they own during a marriage. And what amounts to a marriage? It could either be a customary marriage, whereby they have gone ahead and introduced themselves, each other, to the parents, or it can be a civil marriage where you have gone to the ages or to church and you have signed a certificate. And so a prenup can apply to people who are not married. But then again, the law on marriage requires that you register your marriage. And any marriage that is not registered within a certain timeline does not qualify to be a marriage. So again, it cannot apply to an unmarried couple.